to open the meeting at 6:42 p.m. Thank you, councillors, for your assistance. Do we have any apologies? I'd like to move an apology for Councillor McMullen. Is it apology or leaves of absence?
No,
I think just as it's on the screen is fine.
Yep, cool. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Burkett, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, item 3.1, annual report 2019/20. Do we have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that Council 1 adopt the 2019-20 annual report for Maranoa Regional Council as presented with minor edits. Subject to minor edits identified being provided to the Chief Executive Officer prior to publication. 2, publish the report on Council's website within 2 weeks of adopting the annual report in compliance with section 182(4) of the Local Government Regulation 2012. And 3, write to the Minister advising of the adoption of the annual report for 2019-20.
Okay, we have a seconder. Councillor Hancock, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak?
I do.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to start tonight by thanking the staff for the power of work that they have put into crafting the annual report. As I said prior to the meeting opening, the responsibility of this report rests with the council. And I acknowledge that there are 6 new councillors that have joined this term of council, but the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor and I are the returning councillors, and it's our responsibility collectively, but I feel more strongly that the 3 of us need to take ownership that this document is a little bit later than normal, and that is upon us as leaders of this council. But I want to thank in particular Julie and her team for the mountain of work that goes into pulling a document like this together. And I strongly encourage the community to read it. This is the report that illustrates to the community the work the council undertakes on a 12-monthly basis. And it says a lot about the work that council does. And so for the community that take the time to listen to the proceedings of our council meetings, I do strongly encourage them to review it. I also acknowledge that there's been a flurry of activity, particularly around the expenses that councillors occur. I encourage the community to go and have a look at that aspect of it. I didn't need to stand on open and transparent local government because that's what I've done the whole time I'm here. And have been a councillor of the Maranoa Regional Council. So for those that did stand on it, this is a document that is open and transparent, and it allows the community to make their own mind up. They make their own mind up with the facts and the figures and the data and the narrative that's put together in an annual report. So I am very pleased to be able to move the adoption of this tonight, and I look forward to when we're back here adopting the next annual report in the not too distant future. So again, well done to the staff. You deserve a pat on the back for doing the grunt work of what ultimately is the responsibility of the elected representatives. So thank you.
Do we have anyone else, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to the motion at all? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, moving on to C1, Asset Management Plan Long-Term Forecast, Water, Sewerage and Gas Networks. Do we have anyone wish to? Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that the matter lay on the table until the next ordinary meeting of council to consider any potential conflicts of interest.
We have a seconder, Councillor Edwards. You don't need one?
Yeah, it's a procedural motion.
No, don't need one. So we'll go with this procedural motion. All those in favour? 8-0. Page 9. C2, Draft Operational Plan 2021-22. Do we have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I move that the matter lay on the table until the next ordinary meeting of council to consider any potential conflicts of interest.
Okay, all those in favour? 8-0. C3, Register of General Cost Recovery Fees and Commercial Charges. Do we have a mover? Councillor Hancock.
I move that Council 1 receive the report to amend the Register of General Cost Recovery Fees and Commercial Charges for changes as follows. Right to Information Act, application fee $52.60, GST free. Right to Information Act, processing charge $8.15 per 15 minutes, GST free.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C4, presentation of draft budget 2021-22. I would like to move that council receive the presentation of the draft budget 2021-22 and a further draft be presented at next Wednesday's council meeting, including an efficiency amount from materials and services of 20% for council to consider. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
What does an efficiency amount mean?
The efficiency amount would be reducing materials and services by 20% and going on an efficiency drive where we find more efficient ways of operating to look for the 20% in all of our materials and services budget. Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Edwards. Any opposition?
Mayor, would you consider just splitting that motion?
Well, we can if you would like to. Okay, we'll do the first part of the motion that we received the draft budget. What have I got there? Council received presentation of the draft budget. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Council.
I just seconded.
Yeah, so do you want to do the first bit and you're happy to
Yeah, I'm
second
happy
that
with it.
first bit and we'll do it in two parts?
Yep.
Okay, so we've already got the seconder. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, and we'll do the second motion. That a further draft be presented at the next council meeting, including efficiency amount for materials and services of 20% reduction for council to consider in the budget documents. Okay, is the seconder happy with that motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big pardon?
That's what I was thinking,
What was that?
as to how you would like it adjusted.
Oh, just on the top figure to make it, keep it simple. So,
On the income and expenditures.
yeah, just something simple and then we'll get council to consider it and then we'll go from that if it's supported. So not a lot of work involved in doing it up and having a look at it.
Statement of comprehensive income it's called now, isn't it?
Yeah.
They keep changing them.
Okay, so the seconder happy with that? And that would obviously show what our operating position would be and whether we've got a surplus or not. Okay,
Councillors could really do that manually though, because those documents are tabled so you can see what it
Yeah,
looks
it could,
like.
but it's just easier to see, I believe. Okay, so is the seconder happy with that? Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? 5-3, if I can call for a division. Okay, moving on to C5, Draft Debt Borrowing Policy 2021-22. Do we have a mover? Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that the matter lay on the table until the next ordinary meeting of council to consider any potential conflicts of interest.
And we don't need a seconder. All those in favour? 8-0. Any further business, councillors?
Mr Mayor, if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to extend a massive appreciation for the staff who are present in the room and for the many who aren't here tonight. We've probably embarked on the most extensive planning that we have done across the whole organisation to be able to deliver you an operational plan and budget by today. So it's been a significant team effort, and when I say team, many people, but the people in this room as well, to be able to achieve that and everything else that we have delivered over the last little while as well. So if I could just pass on my appreciation as CEO, but also just to say thank you and well done to the team.
Yeah, and I'd also like to thank all the staff for putting this effort into getting this done, and hopefully we can get back on track with timelines and...
We'll actually be way ahead.
Good, excellent. So thank you for all the massive hours that everyone must have done to make this happen. Okay, is there any further business, councillors? I'll close the meeting at 6:54 p.m. Thank you for your attendance.